So Kai, if you guys don't know, this is Kai, okay? He was a very like top 1-2, okay? Him and Speed, streamers, Twitch guys, very famous. Not a fan of Kai. I was in the beginning in terms of like supporting the boy bubbles, but he just liked to bring on Predator after Predator. And I don't know who was working with Kai. I don't know who his team was, but like this man had some like notorious people on his streams. Okay. So kind of a bummer. So not my favorite. And I do think like his reputation kind of got worse as he got famous, but now there's a rebrand, and the rebrand is him reading. So here's a little clip.
Comes when you make it to the core of all of those agreements. Going to the core of those agreements is what I call going into the desert. When you go into the desert, you meet your demons face to face. After coming out of the desert, all those demons become angels. Practice.
Okay, so he's basically saying, I want to improve. I want to get better at reading, at articulating my vocabulary. Okay, we love it. He also is on a little bit of a journey right now where he just did like a basically like a fashion line called, I think it's called Vivette. And he has like very famous people. Okay, this is a very famous designer.
Same.
Yes.
He brilliant.
Yes.
Okay, and then he wants to be like a clothing designer. And there's that part is very important, but we'll pause on that for a second. My Discord asked me to review this video in context to Kai on his new journey. He's decided to quit streaming and go into this new direction of fashion, and I guess being sort of like an advocate for comprehension. But check out this content that I saw that my Discord sent me, okay?
Who gives a fuck if it's performative? They're performers. If a performer wants to perform reading a book and it ends up encouraging millions of kids to go and pick up a fucking book when we are in the midst of a fucking literacy decline, perform. Who gives?
Okay, so I understand the spirit of that, and I'm not technically against it. I would caution people to not mistake the reality. Oh yeah, the stylist is LaRoche. Thank you. I was forgetting his name. LaRoche. And he's done like everybody. Oh my God, I can't remember anyone's name right now. This is crazy. Anyway, he's done everybody. You know him when you know him. You know what I mean? Anyways, Zendaya, thank you. Jesus. I was like, what is Zendaya's name? Brain fog. Zendaya. I got 4 hours of sleep. Okay. Okay. So, Kai doing his journey into like reading, not reading. Okay. In terms of performance, I think most people are coping and performing, and it's becoming very bad for boy bubbles. I want Kai to not perform reading. I want him to be serious about it, because I think the boy bubbles do a lot of performance. La Roche, not La Roche. La Roche. Anyways, distracted, neurodivergent. Anyways, the boys are already pretending to be rich. The boys are already performing masculinity. The boys are already performing discipline. It's not working, because what happens is that people see the performance and it might not be real, and then they go try to do it and it doesn't work. And it's because they actually haven't actually done the thing. So the question is Kai really doing the thing? I don't know. But I would say that I would caution people from thinking the performance is enough for this reason alone, okay? Check out this one.
Attention is a strategy you can use.
He reads 20 minutes a day, and people started memeing this, okay?
Location, the implementation intention formula is I will behavior and time and location. Habit stacking is a strategy you can use to pair a new habit with a current habit. The habit stacking formula is after
he's reading the Atomic Habits book.
The current habit, I will new habit, and that is time.
So then people are like, okay, are you even comprehending what you're reading? Because part of the literacy decline is also the inability to understand what you just read. So now people are memeing it.
Patient intention is a strategy that you can use.
Well, it's blown out, bro. The audio sucks.
That you can use if you already won a 40v1 with the intention to win a 50v1, then you're...
Okay, so there's like, it's like a joke, okay? Oops, did I just follow this person on accident?
Dripping, gun on my hip. Last time I came with a G23, but this time I came with a G26. I deadly bop with a 5 of my ones, but I need an next hand, so I'm coming with Griff. I stepped in drip.
It sounds like he's literally rapping. Hold on, I gotta go check if I just followed someone on an accident. Okay, no, I didn't. But then some people were like, wait a second, let me give my input here. Okay, let's listen to her.
Percent of U.S. adults are functionally, 21% of U.S. adults are functionally illiterate. This means they struggle with reading, writing, and math to accomplish everyday tasks. Go ahead and follow this page. I'm about to break something down. A lot of us can't fill out a basic job application, but we got jokes when we look at somebody struggling to read. When I saw the clips of Kai Cenat learning new words, I was actually impressed with him. Check the clip.
Spontaneity. Spawn. Oftentimes when I don't know what a word is pronounced, I get to look at how it means.
Spontaneity.
Spontaneity. The condition of being spontaneous. Spontaneity.
Understand that 45 million people in the US struggle with basic reading. People who are making fun of Kai Cenat are missing the whole point. Number one, if you were educated in the US public school system over the last 20 years, you are probably just not equipped. Inadequate funding and teacher shortages contributed to that. Number two, young people who were in school during COVID, they experienced learning loss where they couldn't even retain what they learned. And number three, you want to know the biggest culprit to folks not reading and learning new words? Social media and gaming, because for all that it is a big distraction from a person picking up a book. In another clip, Kai explains that he wants to speak better and to improve his vocabulary. He knows that reading helps.
Okay, pause. I just want to say one of the other benefits to reading versus audiobooks is you actually learn how words are spelled and your spelling gets better. And you actually learn like, oh, this isn't just a word I've heard or a word I've read. This is a word I'm associating with the visual and the audible. So I know we also often have discussions here about audiobooks versus reading. All of it's good. All of it's great, but you are missing out on some opportunities to move your brain in a certain way. Like your brain is differently activated. Okay. So just like keep that in mind, right? You see this, I mess up words all the time. I mispronounce them. I'm always like, how do I say this word? And that's because I've done so much of my reading in my own head. I mispronounce words in my own head all the time. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was spelled that way. So again, there's like an app I don't know if you guys have seen this app. There's this new AI app. I guess it's AI, the voices, where it says a word and then you spell it. And then it sees, and I'm going to tell you this right now. My spelling, not great. Like, And I already knew my spelling was pretty like, ooh, but like it definitely has gotten worse since I stopped reading and I listened to audiobooks. My spelling has gotten worse for sure. Cause I'm such a visual person that often when I remember how to spell, it's not because I'm just sounding it out. It's because I'm seeing it in my head. So I'm like, this is it. But once I stopped reading a lot of books and I just switched to audiobooks, like I'm definitely not the greatest speller. Not to mention that I'm pretty sure I have dyslexia. So
kudos to him for knowing that, because a lot of folks out there don't know it. And to that I say, for all the people who got jokes, there is nothing wrong with improving your vocabulary.
Definitely.
And for all you streamers out there chuckling behind your keyboards,
Definitely.
there is only one streamer that I know of who was the valedictorian for his high school class. If that's not you,
was that Kai?
I suggest you also pick up a book. All right.
Wait, was Kai valedictorian? I didn't know that. Chat said BEA beautiful. Literally how I learned to spell beautiful was from that movie, Bruce Almighty. That's how it stays in my head. To this day, I go BEA beautiful. I always think of that movie. Yeah. I see you, chat. I see you, girl. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like when we have these conversations and we like remember how to spell or do things, I associate everything with a memory. That's why I think music is interesting, because I listen to music that I associate with a memory. That's how I decide if I like music or not. I don't listen to a lot of new music because I have to form a memory to it. But once I form a memory to it, I like it. So that's why I'm interested in people's interest in music, because I have a very particular relationship with it myself. And there's a why to it, So I agree. Overall, I think Kai is doing a good thing. I also understand why people are memeing, and I think it's for a reason. I think it's My theory about why people are memeing and making fun of him is they feel like they're being lied to, because Kai came out with this really, in my opinion, hokey video about how he was like changing. I quit. Look at me. I'm on a beach. I'm finding myself.
Times get over self-doubt or voices in your head saying that it's over. Voices in your head saying you might not be able to do it.
Like, you're so rich, you could have just disappeared for 2 years, but you turned your self-discovery into content, which is why people feel like you're lying to them, right? It feels like, bro, you are worth so much money. This video has 6 million views. Like, you have 14 million subscribers. Like, you could literally disappear into the mountains for 7 years and come back and still not run out of money. But instead, you're turning your self-discovery into a way to make money. So it's still a capitalistic like rat race. And that's why people are like, shut up, bro. You just wanted to put clothes out there. And then he did a fashion line. So then on his way to self-discovery, he's also like, I'm going to learn how to sew and I'm going to make clothes.
Nice pieces with nice material, but then also part of the piece shows the...
I feel like I'm going to get copyrighted.
I had to show everything. I want them to feel.
And then he's like, I want everyone to see my designs and to see what I did and to see everything. It just doesn't feel authentic, you know, to people. And I get it. You know, I think that's so fair that it doesn't feel authentic. I also think it's fair that, like, it is what it is. You know, honestly, but I kind of like, I get the memes too. Here's another one.
I need to become the strongest Hokage to better articulate myself. I still can believe they left the beauty of a shit behind. I sold it in spite, and it'll be good as new. Oh my god, how dare you kill my father? I'll kill you. How dare you kill my father? What the fuck? I need to become a better, stronger Hokage. Oh my gosh. Where's my dad? My name's Girlfriend. I can't find my dad. Where's my dad?
You know, okay, fine. We get it. You know, this one's my favorite though.
التقنيات الحديثة ومواقع التواصل الاجتماعي التي أثرت بشكل كبير على العالم.
We've gone global, kids. We've gone global. You know, it's like, okay, like, you know, okay, there's something to it, right? But also, this video.
Popular opinion, but I don't even care if he's being performative. If you're doing something good in a way that doesn't exploit anyone, it doesn't really matter what your motivations are.
Pause. I actually think it does. I think being good without a reason why is why we're in a meaning crisis. You know, I think it sounds good, be good for goodness sake, but man, is it shallow. And that's why people crumble under temptation. I like that she said without exploitation. I think that's okay. But I actually think it is a part of the meaning crisis that we aren't understanding why we're doing what we're doing.
Good is still being done. Even if he's only reading so that he can record it and post it on the internet, he's still reading. He still actually has to read it in order to film himself reading and post about it. So the good is still getting done, regardless of the motivation. If that's what it takes for him to be motivated to read, which I don't think it is the only reason, then that's fine. I'm proud of everyone who's even read one book in a year. The only reason why I mentioned Kai Cenat specifically is because he's posting about it. Would love it if everyone posted themselves reading, honestly. That's most of my book talk actually, is watching people's reactions to books.
And I think that's fine. Like, I definitely don't care. I don't think it's that deep, right? I think there's something to it. Right? Chat says, is it the culture Kai created with his chat making fun of people learning? I don't even think they're making fun of him learning. They're making fun of how it reads as inauthentic, I think. And it might be a part of him being a nerd, right? I'm sure there's some part of his bubble that thinks he's just a nerd, like, nerd, you're reading. But I think another part of that bubble also just like hates the way it feels, right? Because there's gotta, like, people don't like inauthentic, like they don't want to feel like you're inauthentic. If you can sell them authenticity, they'll buy it. But if they even feel for a second like you're tricking them, they're not going to like it, even if you're not. Right? Okay. Remember this girl, though, who asked guys if they could read out loud?
Question, because I kind of got a little...
Can y'all read out loud?
What?
You be surprised.
Oh, no, hold on, come through.
Now, I will say it is and can be ableist to look down on people who can't read or read out loud or perform at the expectation you have of them. And I do think, and this is, guys, I'm going to say this with the most amount of respect, is why you have to know why something is going on. Because there is room to be critical of somebody who got to a big age of 45 and chose never to learn to read. And they didn't have a learning disability, right? It's one thing to have a challenge and then to overcome, or have a struggle and not overcome. It's another thing to just like not be interested. It's like, oh, okay. It's like showering. I understand that showering and brushing your teeth can be very hard for autistic and ADHD people. I understand when you are depressed, the last thing you want to fucking do, depending on your depression, I was the opposite. When I was depressed, all I did was live in the shower. I was a water waster, okay? But like sometimes showering is the last thing you want to do, right? And what if you have none of the reasons why and you literally are just like, yeah, I don't care about sitting in my own filth? Well, there's probably a reason why for that, but like, let's find the answer. Okay. So I think that's the problem, is like, there has to be a balance between, obviously we want to meet people where they're at. And it would be really rude to like make fun of somebody for being bad at reading when you know it's a struggle for them, which is partially why I do embrace my struggle on stream. But I see how I do it and how Kai does it. Kai is sensationalizing it to go viral. I'm just doing it because I need to work on it. That's why it also feels inauthentic, right? Okay. And that's a part of the reason why I think people are being a little like, okay, we get it, bro, chill. Okay, one more.
Just laughing at Kai for looking up a word while he's reading are the same niggas that would start sweating bullets if you asked them to read a Dr. Seuss book. The same niggas that would damn near shit themselves every time they got called on for popcorn reading back in high school. Like, what the fuck be wrong with y'all? For real. Like, what is y'all's obsession with ignorance? Matter of fact, what is y'all's obsession with constantly putting people down that's actively trying to better themselves? And it's not only black people, but I feel like this has been a prominent issue in the black community for a long time now. When I was growing up back in school, bro, you could try to eat a salad around niggas and they'd be like, oh, look at this nigga trying to be healthy. Like, what? I remember when I was in...
But wait, not to speak for the black community, but any struggling community, you know this if you've ever drunk. Have you ever drank with friends and then you stop drinking for your health and they make fun of you? There is a pattern of people seeing you get better and making fun of you for it. But that's because they themselves are so trapped in the dysfunction that they don't know how to get out either. And they feel like you're making fun of them, right? It's actually like a defense mechanism to protect themselves. So I kind of feel bad, right? Where I'm like, hey, bro, I'm going to stop drinking. I remember when I was in my 20s, I had this group of friends who we got together to drink and hang out. And I remember being like, okay, guys, I think I'm done. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, I can't keep drinking. Like, I'm bored. I want to have deep philosophical conversations. I want to go back to why we got together in the first place. We were a political philosophy group. Like, we're just drinking so much. We're not having good conversation anymore. And they were like, no, I just want to drink. I just want to party. I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to like outgrow this group. And that not to shame people, but like, I'm not going to be joyful here. Now, people feel left behind. They feel neglected. They feel like, oh, you're leaving me because you think you're better than me, right? And I think this is common in all of our communities where there is just a level of difference in the struggle, okay? And so I know he's speaking for the Black community, but I think it's really everywhere, you know?
Third grade. A nigga called me a nerd trying to insult me because I was smart. I don't want to be dumb like you. I just don't get it. Someone trying to increase their knowledge should never be laughed at. A lot of y'all would rather not ask a question to avoid looking dumb instead of just putting yourself out there and asking a question in order to learn something. Oh, I forgot. Y'all don't seek knowledge anymore. Y'all only just go to ChatGPT and ask it questions. Y'all can't.
Well, even more than that too, in some of the bubbles, they're actually making fun of you for going to school, right? They make fun of you for the degrees you get. They make fun of you. Oh, you went for English, bro. You went for gender studies, bro. History, bro. Like, people make fun of you for even going to college, right?
Can't even write a full sentence by yourself, let alone an essay. Honestly, most of you niggas are not intelligent enough to be putting your opinion out on the internet in the first place. We don't want to hear from y'all. You ranky ass niggas just sit up and play 2K all day. Shut the fuck up. The same niggas.
And I think that's a very human. I just think this is so common. I think it's really hard to watch people attempt to do something with their life. But going back to this idea that is it performative? My concern about Kai is that he's just like, I'm going to say in this way, but it's not exactly one-to-one, but it's a little bit like Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson. I have no reason to think Kai is authentic. I have no reason to think Kai is actually helping anybody. given his reputation of the guests he would have on his stream, I have no reason to think Kai is doing this for anything but money and clout and interest. He even had like a secret channel that he eventually had to like tell people he had because, you know, it wasn't getting the views. Apparently that's what the internet says. This is just me like, you know, doing my little research. So when I think about that and I think about, here, we'll go to it. Let's see. This is his like quote secret channel, but it's got crazy good views. But I guess it wasn't getting views in the beginning. And people were like, oh, you know, like here's his first video. Let's see.
If you're watching right now, you are witnessing me making my channel right here, right now. You feel what I'm saying?
It's almost like he reached the height of success on Twitch and then got bored and wanted to do it on YouTube. But if you wanted to do any of this introspective stuff, it'd be great if he just like went to go meditate, went to a retreat, like maybe engaged in actually reading books on his own time and not filming it. It reminds me of a little bit of those people that are like, we need to get off the internet. The internet's rotting our brains. And then they're posting it on the internet. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing?
Hold on. Oh my gosh. You feel what I'm saying?
It's like he's trying to pretend he's a regular person again. And that's going to piss people off. You know, it is going to piss people off, guys, right? Hold on, let me see. I know these things are never accurate, but his alleged net worth could be anywhere between 14 and 35 million. If Charlie Penguin Zero made 34 million, Kai definitely made that. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that's always going to rub people the wrong way. Like, why are you trying to pretend like you're a normal person? You know, you're not a small YouTuber with a small channel. You're fucking Kai Cenat. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I appreciate him making the videos in the sense that it might encourage people to read more. But I do agree, and I can see why people think he's performative. And I can also see why people don't think it's a bad thing. But again, my caution to you, all of boy bubbles are deeply performative. It's why capitalism works, because everyone's this next embarrassed millionaire. Stop faking it till you'll make it, because you're never going to make it if you keep just faking it. You have to fake it till you make it in a sense, but if you only keep faking it, you're never actually going to make it. You know, you're not going to actually fulfill your sense of purpose. You're not actually going to find your joy. And that's what I think is the struggle right now, especially in boy bubbles. Like, they are so deeply struggling with meaning. And so watching him read these books without really like going into it and diving into it and dissecting it, yeah, you know, now if Kai, and this is what I would love for him to do, if he could collab with somebody who isn't a fucking misogynist, that'd be fucking great. If he could collab with a really, like a Dr. K maybe, like a really good role model for men, and then ask him like questions and deep dive into philosophy, do some psychology stuff, that would be cool. You know, that might be a good idea, a good collab, right? Actually give the boys in your audience like some tools versus just watching you read, something like that. But I guess we'll have to wait and see, you know? But yeah, it's funny. Doesn't this just prove time and time again, money is not the answer? You think it is because you can't pay your water bill right now. But once you are able to pay your water bill, you're going to wonder what else. You're going to make $250,000 a year or $70,000 a year and keep thinking what else. Kai is worth probably $30 million. And he's sitting here thinking, what is the meaning of my life? What else? Yeah. Chat says, to be fair, we do love philosophy. Would Kai and his audience be interested in that? I doubt it. Well, I think the better question is, I think that's the point though. That's why people think he's performative. Because they're saying, you don't even care about these books, bro. You don't even care about philosophy. Why are you pretending? And I'm saying if he's serious about it, he should look into it. But this is why his audience will give him backlash. This is why people will make fun of him, because he's not actually learning. Or maybe he is, but we don't know, do we? Do we actually know? Gun to our head, I don't know if Kai Cenat is actually learning anything. This could all be an act to feel more relatable, or it could be genuine. But if it was genuine, should it look different? I think so. You know, I think it should look different if it's genuine, which is why this is my criticism of everybody. Things should look different in a sense, because your life should be a reflection of these changes. If you change as a person, your life will look different. It can't look the same. And I'm saying this is just this doesn't feel like an authentic change. It feels like capitalism. It feels like I'm being marketed to, you know? That's what it feels like. I don't like, is that very surprising that a man who streams and is a capitalist might just be doing a capitalistic thing? Like, is it that weird that we're sitting around assuming Kai has a team and he's like, hey, I want to be a fashion designer. I want to do this new cool thing. I want to learn how to sew, but I want to be like a designer. Okay, cool. He wants to pivot into design. Love that. What is fashion except capitalism? Right? Is it that deep? He's just pivoting his brand. But he's, you know what I'm saying? It's really not that deep. But that's why people are annoyed, because he's making it look deep, you know? But good for him. I did see him start to sew leather bags and stuff, you know? Obviously, I don't buy leather, but, you know, cool. I'm glad he's learning how to sew. That's awesome, you know? So we'll see what it is. Oh, and chat said, what was his goal with the reading part? A reasonable goal, which is to enunciate, to read, to comprehend better. Honestly, we could all use that. So I think he's right to show that, like, spontaneity, like not knowing how to say the word. I mean, relatable. I always Google pronounce word. So I think he's just trying to be, you know, show people that side of him, you know? Something about that. Chad says, if he did content later about the book he read, a reflection of the messages, a summary of what he learned, basically anything, then people may not see it as performative, but would his viewers watch? Well, that's the thing. He's so rich, who cares? Does he still care if people watch? Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe part of the problem is that he does care. He doesn't need the money. He doesn't need the clout. So what does it matter to somebody this rich if nobody ever watches them again? Unless they're a capitalist who's just always trying to be the next top thing. That's what I'm saying about all these people in positions of power where you are literally worth millions. You could disappear off the internet for 5 years and come back and still be somebody. You could remake yourself, go find your joy. It's the fact that you're choosing not to do that. You think you're so important to the cause that you can't disappear for 5 years. There's no one to replace you. There's no one to take over. What do you think you are, the Avatar? You're leaving when the world needed you the most? Get out of here. You're not Aang. You know what I mean? That's the thing. You're not Aang. The world doesn't need you. Bye. Someone can replace you. It's this idea that we really think like, oh, the world needs me the most. The world does not need you. The world needs people to heal themselves. The world needs people to do philosophical work. The world needs you to do the work. Okay? That's what the world needs, which, by the way, if you've seen Avatar, is all about Aang doing the work. Okay? Okay. All right. Any thoughts on this? Chat says Discord said 2 weeks later, Kai Cenat launches a new book, Social Networks. Sarcasm. Hilarious. No. Chat said, I mean, if his motivation is really to help improve literacy in his community, he would also donate to learning centers. Yeah, that would be nice. You know, I don't know what he's doing though, to be fair. I don't know all the details. Maybe he is, and maybe it's not announced, but I'm just explaining, like, for people who wanted me to cover this, what are my thoughts? Those are my thoughts on the performatism. Those are my thoughts on just him making content. And I'm always looking forward to seeing people change. I would love to see a future where Kai spoke about the regret of promoting or hosting certain people. 4 million views, Kai Cenat and Chris Brown, full stream. You know what I mean?
Chat, that's how you always gotta stay.
Chris Brown, what are we doing here, buddy? Like, what are we even doing? You know what I'm saying? What are you even doing? 14 million subscribers. That's why I'm critical of Kai. You know, what's wrong with Chris Brown, bro? This is what I'm saying. Are you fucking trolling me, bro? What is wrong with Chris Brown? Are you 12? Do you not know? Chris Brown is literally facing legal, he's being sued, I think, right now for assault once again. This man has so many convictions, or so many, like, he's been sued so many times for violence. It's insane. It's literally insane. It wasn't just Rihanna. There's like so many people, you know? You said it's wrong to ask questions crazy. I'm going to go ahead and mute you. You're not serious. Okay? Okay, by blocked, you know? Why is he not in prison? Come on now. Come on now. Chaz said he did it again. He's done it. He's hit so many people. How many people has Chris Brown hit? Oh man. The legal issues of Chris Brown, a complete timeline of Chris Brown's controversies and arrests, multiple. Okay. A history of violence. Chris Brown. Chris Brown has a long documented history of violence. Like, Chris Brown has a crazy history of violence. You know what I mean? Insane. And then for like Kai to be like, yeah, that's the person I want on my stream. Chris Brown. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a bummer. So I hope Kai goes and works on himself, because this is definitely not the person you want here, right? This is just definitely not the person you want to be promoting.